Hey Stencil fans, I am so excited to present this project to you. This is our Welcome to our Firepit project, one of our absolute best sellers across all of our channels. So today I am going to show you so many techniques. We are going to learn about chipped wax resist paint and distressed backgrounds. We are going to learn to do the ombre technique on your lettering to give it just like a detail and a pizzazz. We are going to teach you how to do a shade thing and make tape stretch and bend. That's fun. We are going to show you how to make this fire look jazzy, how to make smoke rise and go through, and I'm going to show you some brush techniques to base instead of stencil, which is really weird for me, but I think that you're going to love that because it will make the rest of your painting time really, really easier. So I hope that you enjoy. I can't wait to share. All right, stencil fans, let's get started. I can't wait to show you all the techniques that I have for you today. We are going to start with the wax resist. The wax resist is going to give us this really chippy kind of quality right here, and that makes it look like a really gnarly old distressed board, but you don't have to work hard for it. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to use a water-based stain. I have a stain that is just a neutral brown. This is a honey bottle. We have affiliate links for Amazon down below so that you guys can find these things and then, do whatever you're gonna do with them. But these are honey bottles, and then the stain is a water-based stain. You can get it tinted whatever color you like. And then we store it in these because it's way easier than cans to dump out of. Okay, so I've already done this. It's already dry. I didn't need to seal my wood. It's MDF. It just is a pressed, manufactured hardboard made with glue and lots of wood particles. I'm going to use Clapham's beeswax. I've used a lot of other wax resist things. This is my favorite, so I'm just going to use it. It makes a really good cutting board sealer, or it's one of the hardest finishes that you can use to finish your surfaces with, which is kind of neat. I would never have thought soft wax would be that way, and it's food safe. So I'm going to just use my fingers. It's food safe, so I don't worry about the gloves. And then I'm going to smear, you got to say that like the Germans and do the smearing. I'm going to smear it here and there and just kind of create, and you can kind of see it reflective a little bit. You don't need to use a big wad. I've used kind of a little bit too much in the past, and I've learned that just a little dab will do ya. Okay, that you can, I'm dating myself with all these references to advertising jingles. But so we'll just get a nice little pattern on there. And then once you do that, wherever the wax is, that is where you will get the chipped peeling paint. I've tried painting chipped paint. I've tried faking the chippy look, and it's really, really hard to do. So this wax resist is just really cool. I'm gonna wipe off my finger. And then I'm going to tell you about our giveaways here in just a minute. Thank you for joining us today for our live. Let me get the paint on here, and then I'll tell you about the giveaways because we want this paint dry. We're going to use a black, also a water-based paint, and this is just a regular black. Put it in the honey bottles. It makes it easy to dispense. And we're going to get a foam brush. This is a poly foam brush, which is different than a cruddy foam brush. And when things get hardened on the edge of these because they don't get put in the water right, I just pick them off. I'm gonna scoop my paint. This is a really generous, I'm gonna need to put more out. I'm gonna lay that paint down on, which is why it's gonna take a while to dry. Okay, while you're watching me apply the paint, tell us where you're from. And once again, thank you for joining us. Tell us where you're at, tell us what the weather's doing. Tell us a little bit about you. Okay, where'd you find us at? Stenciling is such an interesting business. It's like everybody kind of can do it, like it's for everybody, but you come to it differently, All right, we're gonna get that done. We were talking last week, and we have decided that our little slogan that art made easy is a really good slogan because literally we've had 5-year-old kids paint with stencils and they've done a brilliant job. So stenciling is for everybody, and we make it easy because you don't have to know a bunch of stuff to make it happen. And on that note, today I'm going to show you a couple of advanced techniques so you can take it like to the next level. Okay, so we're going to get that on there. It's a lot of paint. I'll bet you I'm using ounces of paint today. But if you don't cover it thickly, it doesn't do the right thing. So you got to kind of get it on there. And you don't get 2 chances to base coat. You need to cover it in 1 coat. That's kind of probably more than anything why you need thick paint. Okay, I'm going to need a little bit more. Better to put out a little bit more and then refresh than to waste your paint. I feel like I waste a lot of paint. I tend to be a generous pourer, and so I waste a lot of paint. Okay, let's scoop that up. Get that done. And then we're going to talk about prizes. We have got amazing prizes today. So if you are new to, if you're finding us on YouTube, go to our Facebook page. That's where we're doing the prizes in real time. Can't do it on YouTube because it lasts forever on YouTube. I'm going to set this board aside. And put that there. I'm wondering if I can redirect this fan to fan that thing. Maybe that'll dry quicker. Okay, prizes. So thank you for joining us on Facebook. Today we have got we're live at our noon, and then we recast tonight at 9, and then we're answering your questions live. So today we have stencil sets. These are pattern stencil sets, and they're both the same, and there's a whole ton of patterns. Let's crack it open, shall we? To win, you need to like, share, and comment. Like, share, or comment. And these are put together with the little jump rings. You can take them off. Honeycombs and butterflies and stars and chevrons. Oh my, oh goodness. Look at the fall leaves. Oh, those are fabulous. The wood grain is amazing. Okay, oh, and we've got cracked glass and stacked stone. Oops, I hope I'm doing this so you can see it. Spider webs, bats, more wood grain. Oh, nope, that's zebra wood grain. Okay, you know what I mean. And then some tool stencils and bricks. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is hundreds of dollars worth of value, I believe. I think it's at least $100 and maybe $60, something like that. It's a big value. So if you want to be the lucky winner, then you know what to do. You need to like, share, or comment. We appreciate the love that you give us when you share with your painting groups and your friends, because it's hard to find really good content. And we feel like, we're experts in painting, we're experts in stenciling, and we want to pass that on to you guys so that you guys can become the experts too. So share with your friends, we appreciate it. And now we are going to drop the brush on there, and then we have one more prize that we are going to do. This is our grand prize, and this is actually, I'm going to say that this might be more grand prizey, but this is a different kind of prize. This one is kind of a share with fellow people that you are, that you paint along with in a way. You're going to share your images of things that you've stenciled on our social media, on Facebook. And then when you do that, you get points. So if you have 5 things that you've painted, then you get, 5 points. If it's something that you've painted with our stencil, then you get bonus points. So, and then you have to come back when you win on our lives, on our weekly lives. When you win, you need to come back the next week and see who got selected, or the next day. I'm trying to think of how they do it. Come back. We'll put a link down below so that you know what to do. Sometimes I get confused. Okay, so anyway, but this is a $30 shopping spree, and that is going to be for people that share their images. Okay, so we're going to talk about this Firepit stencil, and there's some interesting things with this. We've got some ombre. I'm going to show you how to do ombre, which is a really neat technique. I'm going to show you this smoke technique. I'm going to show you, this is a really interesting one. This is not a 2-part stencil, and I would be very curious to hear from you guys that have experienced 2-part stencils. A lot of times we'll make this a 2-part stencil. The problem with 2-part stencils is they can be more expensive. I'm going to show you how to do this with a brush where you don't need the cutout to put the red behind the letters. And then let us know in the comments. This is like a really fulfilling thing for us because you guys give us comments and then we get educated. So I love to hear your comments. Anyway, and so we are going to pull out our other board and get started. So I've already done our basing on this. I'm going to show you on this board. I've just got to get this board dry first. I've already done our background, so I'm going to kind of mix the steps up just a little bit. Normally, you would sand your board, and then you would do the part that I'm going to show you on this red banner to do that. But I'm going to show you the other parts first, and then we'll come backwards to this one when it's ready, okay? So I'm going to take our stencil. I'm going to lay it over the top. We always want to have some tape. We've got 2 pieces of tape, and you're going to tape in 2 spots, and I'll show you why. Okay, tell us what you're painting right now. Such an interesting time of year. All right, and then we're doing the welcome to our fire pit where friends and marshmallows get toasted at the same time. A little snarky, a little fun. What is your vote? Burnt marshmallows or golden marshmallows? I'm a golden marshmallow girl. So, but I don't like coffee and I don't like caramel flavor. So like, I feel like that's automatically going to be that way. Okay. So here we go, right? We're going to show what happens with 1 piece of tape. With 1 piece of tape, you have all the movement in the world. So if you just tape it at the top or on the side, you're going to move. So what we're going to do is we're going to line it up, and we're going to give it its 2nd piece of tape. I usually go across from each other. You don't have to. And then when I grab my stencil, no movement. You're locked in and ready to go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is ombre. Okay, ombre is fun. You can do it on the top, the bottom, the middles. You can do it all over the place. So it is just a faded color. And I will show basic stenciling and drop shadow up here on this banner once I show you how to paint that. So if you're a beginner, then just wait until we get to that part and I will show you how not to bleed under your stencil, how to stencil like an expert. You're gonna be golden after this, okay? So I will show you that. So we're gonna take our folded paper towel, put that out there, get rid of the waxy one. Take our dome brush, our dome brushes. Dome brushes, please, if you love the dome brushes, and those of you who have them, and I know there's so many of you, these have been like our #1 top selling everything, is the dome brush. And by the way, for those of you who paint, sorry to skip around, for those of you who paint, this stencil is absolutely one of our 100% top sellers, has been for years. So if you're painting and selling, this is a winner chicken dinner. You want to have this in your line. People love this. They eat it up. We're going to get out our maroon color. I'm going to put our grand prize drawings and make sure that you're like, sharing, and commenting. It just means everything to us when you guys do share. It's amazing. Like this is what we do all day, every day. So whenever you share, it's like saying good job, you know? So it's a big deal to us. Okay, gonna get me a little choked up there. We're gonna get out our rusty color. Shake it up. Once again, water-based paints. All these things, there are links below. And if you like the links and if you like the content and stuff like that, make sure that you subscribe. Once you subscribe, the little bell icon shows up. If you ring the bell, then it will give you notifications. It just sends you like an email or a text and says these people have new content. I forget all the places I go online, and so it's nice to get a notification when somebody I really like has something new. So I enjoy that feature. But I don't subscribe to everything, I just do my favorites. All right, dry brush, dry paper towel, paint that does not have water in it, it's just water-based paint. We're gonna pick up a little bit of paint, gonna dry off on the paper towel, like a good 15 scumbles. Okay, you wanna offload. You don't wanna be seeing anything more than just a tint, like that's dry the minute I put it on my hand, okay? If you can control your paint, you can control all the things. So know that. That's like the secret to professional painting is just do thin layers. Don't try to get there all at one time. Okay. And then we're going to go onto the bottom of our letters. And you just start, I'm going to start across the bottoms of all the letters. And then I'm going to, now that it's faded, now I've got strong, 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 strong all the way across the top. As I move up, I have less paint. So it's going to fade. And then I don't want to go very far up. These letters are really big on this stencil. Our stencils come in many sizes. And so you want to make sure that you are, when you get the size, like say if you get a smaller size, you might opt for a smaller size brush. That's what's beautiful about the 5-piece set. And that's what I started to say earlier. Brushes are hard to get. They're an import. There's nothing we can do about that. It's the industry. There's no way to do them. You would not want to pay for them if they were made here. And so it's been a weird year. I can just say that. And whenever you're seeing this, if you're on YouTube, just know we're in, so we're 2021. It's been a weird year. Anyway, but get the brushes when you can get them because they're hard to get the rest of the year. Seems like every other week. Okay, so we get that nice and even across there. And then maybe I'll go back and just do a little bit stronger at the very base. Deepen that up a little bit. So what I like about this project is it's super painterly looking. I'm going to plop my brush in water. If you think you want to use this, oh, we need to do our toasted. We'll go down here and do the toasteds. If you think you're going to use it again, just get a full top baggie and put it in the full top baggie. So I'll go on here, do my toasteds. So we were talking about where you're going to hang your Firepit sign. And I just bought a used travel trailer. So we can go travel across the country, go see the grandkids, get my husband out of the cold during the winter, that kind of thing. And I think my favorite thing is these campfires that you go to at the parks, the RV parks and things like that. You can put a fire pit there. You're just peaceful. You're in the woods. Super fun. And then we were talking about all the strange places I've painted. I've painted on ships, trains, planes, automobiles. I've painted on just about everything. It's a very bizarre little trivia moment right now. You know, it's like, where have you painted? And then when we were talking about that, we were talking about like you could paint in your little RV, you know? So you can take these are available on our website. You can take these and you can totally put your paints in there. They have the little foamy seal things so they won't leak. And you can do big ones for the ones that like black and white and cream. And then do your accent colors in these and bring some projects on the road and sit out in nature and have fun just doing what you love to do. All right, I'm gonna take my tape and just pinch it. Gotta get a bigger piece. I wanna do this marshmallow to look like it. This is stretchy tape. So I wanna bend this tape. I'm gonna start it here. And then I'm going to stretch the tape. Can I get this one to do it? Gotta get the littler one. Let me see if I have a roll of that down here. Yep, I do. Okay, the thinner it is, the more it will twist. Okay, so get this. And I dug a hole. That, you know what that is? Actually, that is where there's some wax underneath that. So that's gonna sand away when I do some top sanding anyway. Just FYI, when your wax is underneath, it's going to make little holes. So I can tape that in a curve, and then I can make, I'm gonna get to a smaller brush, little shadow line. So I'm just gonna go right over the top of that tape and peel it up. And yes, I have my chip, but that's where it's supposed to be, so I'm okay with that. But now I have that marshmallow looking like it is a shape, if that makes sense. Okay, so I could do the same on the other side. I'm not gonna do everything on this because I think that would make the video too long. Okay, so who thinks that is the coolest idea, to tape things and make them that way, to make them shapes and shadow them? Okay, we are going to go into our fire pit. We're going to make our stone look like stone. I'm going to use, like, how many times in the world do you think you could use tape that bends? It's amazing. So we're going to go on to our fire pit. We're going to take our, this is a soapstone lead. I'm going to take it and draw right on there just to get that arch so I know where I'm going. And then I'm doing it on the top. So turn this around. So tape there, and then we pull it and stretch it and bend it around. Okay, and now I have a line. Get into our brown paint. A little bit more. And now we'll just go right there. Okay, and I'll take that off. And now I have that little three-dimensional little line. And then we're gonna make some funny rock formations. Okay, so make sure that you're like, sharing, and commenting. Let us know what you're liking about this so far. There's so many cool techniques in this video. Don't go away because we've got, like, oh my goodness, some things. I want to talk to you about stencil storage for a second. So I'm going to switch to my little guy right here. Going to get into the gray and maybe mix it with a little bit of brown. Just brush mix. And then I can go into different areas and I can just give it a little diffuse, maybe a little bit of black in with that. Give it a little bit of mottled, I'm all kinds of rough tumbled stone look. All through your stencil. This is what I'm saying when we're talking about art made easy. This is magic. Let's get out our white. Like, if you can use it through the stencil, then it makes, like, life so much easier. It's so great. Love it. So I'm just going to make this look gnarly. You could stipple if you wanted to make it like a rough texture kind of look. Play around with the textures. Okay, I'm going to peek. How many of you are peekers? I'm going to peek under there. Oh yeah, that looks like stone. I don't like that the brown is kind of standing by itself. So I'm going to diffuse it with my stippling. I like the line on top. I don't like the line at the bottom. So let's peek again. Much better. That's awesome. Okay. We're going to take our forks. You're going to make them gray. You can use the little stencil brush. And now I want to show you some storage ideas. Okay, so we have our stencils over here. We have them done on this like angle iron. It's an L-shaped angle iron. And we've got those J-hooks, I think they're called, that have adhesive on them, and we stick them to our stencils. And you can see we tend to letter things and number things on them so we can tell what they are, because we have to store them. Like, we're a little bit different use because we're a stencil company. So we use this system. There is a really cool curtain rod system, a curtain holder system. This is this little clip, and it has a little like Essie hook thing on it, like a little C hook, and it has pinchy things. Okay, so you can take your stencil and you can put Mr. Pinchy thing on there. Okay, you can put it wherever you want it, and then you can hook it on this. Hang on, I'll get the right side. My glasses are on my head. So you can hook it on there, and then you could put it in your closet or wherever. And these are really cool because you can turn them slightly at an angle, and you can stagger a lot of stencils on this. So one little closet area, one little in between, bookcases, in between your desk and your other piece will take care of hanging a lot of your stencils. And if you're into the bigger stencils, that'll take care of those too. So there's a lot of neat options out there. Those are available on the link that we've got down below for our Amazon affiliate links. Okay, so we've done our gray, we've done this. I'm looking to see fire. Let's get the fire done and then I'll show you smoke. Okay, so I'm gonna dunk that into the water. Keep your brushes in the water unless they are, I'm gonna show you how to use this little guy. It's a Taklon flat brush later, but you don't want these to sit in water. You want these to sit off to the side in a lovely clean state, but the dome brushes can sit in that water and the foam brushes, okay? Fire. What we're gonna do with the fire is we're going to get the fire lit. Okay, we're going to take our red, and this is just a lovely burgundy brick red. We're going to get a dome brush. I use between 5 and 20 brushes, depending on how many color changes I'm doing. If you do a lot of color changes, you need a lot more brushes, so just be aware of that. You can't use these until they dry, and it does take about a day to get them completely dry, and sometimes it takes longer than that. Just depends on who's washing them. All right, so we're gonna go around our fire at the base and get that red color. This is, so we have a paint and make it, take it workshop place in our small town. And we have teachers that teach the painting workshops and, you know, people come in to do like make it, take it kind of things. Last year, we did not have the multi-masker. And this year, we invented the multi-masker. Okay, so this is our product, this is our invention, our thing. One of our teachers from last year, like the year before last, because of COVID year, whatever, that missing year, she has been helping us in the workshops and doing the thing, and she came to help train the teachers. And I showed her this, and she cried. That's how great this tool is. If you're doing anything with a lot of detail on it, you have to have one of these, and they just make it so much easier to mask. So what it does is it gives me the ability to get to really close things and shade around them without getting paint on everything and then having to patch my paint. Okay, so you can flip it different directions. I tend to like, so I think this looks like a giant nose, and then I think that this looks like he's laughing and stuff like that. It also has rulers in centimeters and in inches, and it has the checks for doing check borders and dots for doing dot things. These are for doing things like leaves and sharp areas. So there's a lot going on here. It makes a lot of sense. You will find a lot of uses for it. So you just kind of have to jockey it around. I tend to use the guy's nose the most. Okay, so we're just gonna get that red on there. And then you can kind of just streak that red up. Okay, and then throw that brush in the water, and we're gonna get out some yellow. The yellow's gonna be one that is gonna make a mess and stay wet for a hot second. So watch for that. I'm gonna get my round brush out if I can find him. Here he is. This is a magical round brush. If you don't know how to use a round brush, you won't believe how wonderful it is. But if you know how to use a round brush, this is irreplaceable. You need this brush. Okay, so we're gonna flip it upside down. I'm gonna pull towards me. There's an old axiom that says that artists push the paint and craft painters and casual painting pull the paint. You have way more control if you pull your paint. Artists kind of just like, it's almost like you're like feeling with your feet or your hands when you're like molding clay and you sense that you know where you're going with it. That's like the artist person, okay? I need to watch where things are coming. I need to watch where they're going. I'm way more on the craft side of things. Like I'm a professional crafter, but I definitely need to pull my paint. So when you're doing this, you want to make the paint come to you. We're going to pick up the paint with our wonderful round brush, and then we're going to put down some heavy paint, and we're going to do it in the shape of a little too heavy. Let me take that away. So I'll lay that down. I'll come over here. I'm just gonna pick that right back up. Little too much. Sometimes yellow can be a yucky color to paint with. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of paint. Yellow sometimes doesn't cover and it doesn't look very vibrant. Today, yellow was being very vibrant. So we're gonna pull on here and we're gonna pull these in like S shapes. Okay, pull that in. We'll go into our orange and we're gonna do the same thing with our orange and just layer. This is the kind of detail that is gonna set your painting apart from other people's painting, because other people are gonna stop at the idea that there is a red or an orange flame and they're not gonna take it to having like flames shooting off and doing that thing. So if you wanna take it across the finish line, this little bit of shaded ombre, big deal, really big deal. Okay, magical brush has to get flicked and rinsed off of most of what's going on there. You cannot leave it in the water or you will wreck it and then you will be mad. Okay, so I pinch out the water, I reshape it, I lay it off to the side. I can take this to my sink later and I can wash it gently with a little bit of soap to get all the pigment out. But right now it's mostly clean, okay? So that's really important. If you're using nice brushes, you have to treat them nicely. Okay, we're gonna go and do smoke. You guys ready for this? While I'm waiting for my flames to dry, oh, I gotta show you this part, but I'll layer that back over. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my flames to dry, I'm gonna show and tell. Okay, so we have got StudioR12 stencils. That's at StudioR12.com. We have probably, we're unsure if we're the most, but we have got more than 5,000 titles of stencils. We have a lot going on. And we love providing all the different kinds and styles of stencils for you. So I'm gonna share, these are brand new ones, and I think that you are going to be super excited. Okay, so this is Relax and Unwind, You're on Patio Time. What I love about this one is I love this round treatment and I love the straight line on the round treatment, gorgeously painted. And what's neat, we have a video, we'll link it above, and we have a video on this that shows you how to get straight lines on a round item. So you're gonna wanna check that video out. This is STCL2444. Okay, I love that. Love, love, love. And then this one is so bright and wonderful. And this is the pool forecast. Okay, so this one is awesome. What a great gift for somebody that has a pool. Or if you don't want to do a gift, it's great for you too. This is STCL2269. And you can see here, Carrie painted this one, and you can see that she did a whole lot of drop shadow, and there is a link to the drop shadow video for you to watch and see how to do that. It's an amazing technique that gives richness and depth to your painting. You're gonna love that technique. Okay, and then this last one. This one is a rustic sign. And this is Life is Better Around the Campfire, and it is really, really cute. And we have had, like, we do campfires at our house. We live in the country, and we have a sign like this that is out by our back patio, and I just love it. It just sets the stage. Okay, and this is STCL3385. Okay, so let me get that collected. Now we've got two things that are drying. I think I'm gonna have to force dry. So while we are blow drying this, because otherwise it will make a mess, then I'd like you to share what your favorite tip that you've learned today is, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're ready for some smoke. Where there is fire, there will be smoke. Okay, don't you love this distressed effect? It is magic. Love it. So great. Okay, so I'm going to Sometimes when, like, we use our brushes a lot, we clean them with ginger graters. If you notice, this one has flattened itself. And then what we say about the domes is when you have a flattened brush, it kicks the paint under, okay? With the dome, it doesn't. So when I get into the flats like this, I use these specifically for a stipple or a gentle scumble or something like that. And I've even trimmed them to do that. When you're cleaning your brush, I don't have a ginger grater here, but they have those spiky ceramic things on them. When you're cleaning your brush, don't go straight back and forth on that because then you'll be flattening your dome. I tend to do a little bit of a swirly thing, and that way I'm sharpening the dome. Okay, we have like a lot of people using these, and not everybody does it the same way. So just FYI, clean them in the way that you want them to last. Okay, so we're gonna go into the smoke. Gonna get that gray color. Looking to see. So what I've done with this, and I love, this is something that I've been a professional designer for 30 years. And what I love to do is I love to take something within the art and I like to lead the eye with it. Okay, so you can do that as just a casual, like I'm a stenciling person, like you don't have to be a designer or whatever. So what I did is I started with my fire and then I sweep up and then I'm gonna travel across my letters. I'm gonna go behind my banner and then out the scene. So it just leads the eye through, and I think it adds a lot of personality to your project. So that is what I'm going to do. You can do that with sparkles and stars and spatter, and you can do it with all kinds of techniques. This is a really cool technique. So we're gonna come around the outside edges, and we're really gonna keep these moves round, and we're not gonna do pressure. Okay, so we're gonna come up out of the fire. We can have some wispy swirls come out that way. I'm gonna come up through my eye. I'm gonna come around and back through here. Making bigger movements, I'm running out of paint. It's time for a drink. What is in your tumbler today? These are our StudioR12 live tumblers, and on the back we've got all of the key phrases that we use on this show. Stencil fans, sanding is my cardio, and things like that. It's an amazing, cute tumbler. All right, so we're going to get in here, swirly, swirly, swirly. Now we're gonna sneak it back over here and we're gonna let it escape the scene. And now I'll come back and I might decide I want a little bit of, I don't like the stipple. So remember, if you're doing something and you don't like it, go backwards one step, okay? That's how you get out of it. So I was just there, and then while it was still wet, I just dried it off. And then that right there, click eraser. So I don't want that on the front of my red. So I'm going to go into my water with my click eraser and I'm going to erase my paint. If you erase your paint while your paint is fresh, then it comes right off, okay? If you erase it when it's dry, if I wanted to come over here and erase on here, it's not going to erase at all. So if your paint is like 5 to 10 minutes fresh, it will still erase. And then we have these on the website, and we also have the refills. So you're gonna use this for all kinds of stuff. It's an amazing tool. If you do bleed under because you hurried or you got too excited about stuff, you can clean up the bleeds with that. So that is a great tool to have in your toolbox so that you know, I can fix this. I think that's the liberating thing, is just, I can fix this. All right, so if we think we like our smoke, we can leave it alone. And I think I like the smoke, so I am gonna leave it alone. Okay, I gotta get some drying on this. I almost got it dried, but I need a little bit more, and then I can show you the really cool techniques where I'm gonna show you how to make that red banner using your stencil to outline stuff, but using a regular paintbrush, which is really and it kind of an advanced technique. So here we go. Let me get it dry. All right, so that's taking forever and I'm losing my patience, so we're gonna work around on this one. I'm gonna show you the sanding away from the big wet spot in these two spots. So we're gonna take 60 grit sandpaper and we're gonna go onto our board. I'm gonna show you this side of it. And I'm just gonna sand through the stuff. And so you can see we're getting, like, look at the shape of the way that that's crackled. There's lines of paint within, there's little islands of coastline. I learned last night that Maine has more coastline than California, and it's because of all of those little inlet and island things and stuff. I thought that was a neat trivia moment. Okay, so we're gonna go up there and we're just going to sand that off wherever that is. And like I said, I almost said showed, like I said on here, this is wherever I've got my wax under there, it's gonna chip off on the other elements. So you're definitely gonna get some chipping when you paint on top of it. The way that you can get out of that is you can go ahead and you can take a degreaser, a cleaner like Zep, whatever. Take a degreaser, and after you're all dry, you can squirt it on there, and then you can wipe off the waxy coat and then continue painting. So there is a way to control it. I prefer it to chip off. I like that. So this is still wet here. This doesn't need to, don't need that area to show you things, but I do want to show you how to base that band. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to lay this on top, and it's going to make my stencil messy. I'm going to take my soapstone liner, and because I don't have that two-part stencil, I'm just going to go through this and I'm going to give it a line. This soapstone liner erases with spit, water, that eraser. It erases with everything. It will not stay on your project. It is the most wonderful marking tool for painting because you just sometimes need that little, like, I know where this lives. You need it marked, you know? Okay, go there. And then that will come up, if I can find my edges. And then I have my pattern marked. So that's a really neat way to get your pattern marked if you want to base something. I am going to wipe up the back of that because when I lay it on top, it's going to make a mess on my project. So I'll get that wiped up and cleaned up where my paint was wet. Okay, now we're up here. We're going to take this brush. This is a flat brush. It is flat in all the ways. It's evenly cut. It is, it's a 1/2 inch long. This is a number 10. A 10 or a 12 is a really good size. For this shape, you want to use size according. You're going to pick up some paint flat in your brush. You don't want to scoop it. This isn't a scooping moment. You want to flatten it. And then you're going to come over here. You're going to kind of get down close so you can see what you're doing. And you're going to let the brush line right next to your line. I'm going to tippy toe so I can see. And then smooth out any ridges. Pick up more paint. This is, I will tell you, when you're watching me do this, this is what we had to do before we had stencils. So when I say that stenciling makes art easy, I'm not kidding. This is the hardest work you'll do in this whole project. If you want to do this, you could do it without, wouldn't be a bad thing. I do like that pop of color up there. I really do think that that's nice. So I thought I'd show you how to do it. One thing, pro tip, you want to keep your handles up. Okay, so when you're doing this is a really awkward angle. I feel like I'm not helping anybody see my head in the way. You want your handle straight up and down. If I do this, I run out of paint right away and it makes a big mess. Okay, so what you do, because you're trying to guide where the paint's going, is you keep your tippy toe up and you just drag the toe. Don't push. It's not a pushy thing. And you just reload as needed. Okay, and then it took me 3 base coats to get that one base coated. But having a good flat brush, and this is the difference, like the very first time I picked up a paintbrush, I failed art in high school, super funny story, was not drawn to art and doing all the things. I went to a craft store when I was, I think I was 26 years old when I started, and, you know, third baby just born and all that kind of stuff. And I bought the stupidest brushes. I bought the ones with the handles that are that long, and I bought the one that was this big. And you know, I bought everything I didn't need. It was ridiculous. The nice thing about StudioR12 is I've done it all. I've made all the mistakes. We put brushes on our website that absolutely work. We stand 100% behind them. So like if you need a brush for something, you are gonna find yourself a brush that will work, and you're gonna know that it does what it's supposed to do. So anyway, you're gonna fill that in and you just follow the line. And then when you get done, you'll erase that line with spit, water, click eraser, whatever you want to erase it with. Okay, I'm gonna rinse this brush out. This is a brush that needs to be rinsed out. This is a Taklon brush. This is a nice brush. This is not an expensive brush. I think the round brush is more expensive, but round brushes are, if you're gonna be a good round, you need to be a really good round. A flat brush does not need as much technology and engineering behind it. The round brushes have to do specific things. I could geek out on you about round brushes. I'm gonna take this one away because that's not interesting anymore. And I'm gonna show you how to do those letters on top. Okay, so I've got my band up here. I could sand this to make it belong to the family. So I'm gonna do that. And we're gonna have some of it chip out. Yep, there's a big spot right there that chipped out. Okay, and I didn't erase my line yet, which is probably a really good thing. Okay, I'll just do it dry. So I can just go in there, and that's gonna take that line right away. So you can use your stencil as a pattern tracing stencil. So you could put this on something. All of these bits, you could use this and you could transfer it onto something else. So like, it's not just a stencil, it could also be a patterning tool. So there's a lot of weird things you can do with stencils. All right, so we wanna get into our word on top. Oh, we gotta do a drop shadow on there. There's so much in this video, right? Please like, share, and comment, like do the thing, because this is what we love to do for you, is we love to share like every possible tip and technique that we can. Okay, so we know where our band is. So I'm going to skip a step on the drop shadow, and I'm going to drop it down, get that line, and then I'm gonna drop it over, and I'm gonna do my black line first, my black drop shadow. On that lettering. And I'm just gonna show you the one. Okay, so that's the initial part. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna blow dry that, and then I'll show you the letter on top. Don't you love it when you work in the thin layers and everything dries super fast? I hope you guys are having a good time. All right, so we're gonna get that there, and that is a cream color. Most of our colors we're just kind of eyeballing. We want a cream, get a nice cream. You want a red, get a burgundy, you get a, fire truck, that kind of thing. I'm gonna stipple this. Yeah, I'll swirl too. Sometimes if I want something to cover right away, I'll go ahead and stipple. I really, really am a swirler though. You guys swirlers or stipplers? Put it in the chat. Okay, and then we'll take that away and you can see what drop shadow looks like. Okay, so what you see here is you see that we have a black outline on all the edges and it just makes the lettering pop. You can make it bigger, you can make it littler, however you want it to be. But what I will tell you, we were training for new teachers over at our workshop space, and the one gal yesterday, and if she sees this video, I'm sorry, I had to share them. She did her drop shadow about a half an inch away, and it looked like a lose your mind puzzle. It does not work when you do it really far away. So you need to do it within probably a quarter of an inch. Don't go further than that because it will not look pretty. All right, I think I showed everything. I think I have. You guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I cannot wait until the next time when we get together. Make sure you like, share, and comment so that you can be entered for those wonderful prizes. And we will see you next time. Thank you.